Hi everyone, my name is Selena Sumakno and welcome to the Radboud University YouTube channel, or welcome back if this isn't your first rodeo. I don't like saying that and I will not continue to do that, don't worry. So if you didn't already know, I grew up in Indonesia, and that's the tropics, right? We don't have the winter time, we don't have 4 seasons. When it's winter time, it just rains a lot, like a lot. Nothing compared to the light showers I've seen in Europe, or Western Europe at least. And so, you know, if this is also your first time going to a country where they have 4 seasons, winter time may get a little rough for you, as it was for me in the beginning. I was a bit lucky because I had already traveled to certain places that had the winter season and actual snow, but there's a huge difference between traveling to a place where there's snow and actually living in a place where there's snow. So I'm going to be giving you the tips that I've learned and accumulated during the 2 years that I've lived here, and give you some tips about the Dutch winter and how to survive them. So enjoy! Number 1 is to get a heater. It's a little bit more pricey because it is, you know, bigger. It's an investment, I would say. You already have heaters in student housings, and most houses really, you have built-in heaters, but sometimes when you're not used to the winter, you may need something just to be a little bit more heavy-duty and get some warmth in your room. I would recommend a bed, like a mattress heater that they sell here. Yep, that's a thing if you didn't already know. And it's glorious, especially if you live, or like your bed, you sleep right near the window like I do. That's the window and this is my bed. So that means drafts usually sort of come from the window or the wall, and it can get a little cold. So what I would do, and what I have been doing, is using a mattress heater. I got mine from my grandfather. He was very kind to donate his to me, and I also have a portable heater, and my grandmother was kind enough to donate that to me. So it's really great if you can get hand-me-downs, but as an international student, that's very rare. I understand that. I would recommend checking out Action for cheaper options, but they may not last as long, so if you have some money to invest, then I would recommend checking out any Media Markt near you. Okay, next tip I have is getting a throw blanket. A throw blanket is just pretty much a thinner blanket that you can throw over the one you have. You can bring it around, you can put it over you as you're sitting in your chair and you're studying, you can put it over you when you're on your couch, whatever you want. It's basically like a robe that you can put around yourself like you're in Harry Potter, but except instead of keeping you invisible, it keeps you warm. And it's definitely a less pricey option compared to buying heaters. And it's just nice for decor as well when it's the summertime. I have one that's pretty fluffy, so it's more comfortable and I feel great cuddling up in it, and I would highly recommend something like that. Another option is to have fuzzy socks and home slippers, because floors can get cold, y'all. A lot of places don't have heating on the floor. I've probably been in one house that's like that, and I don't think they offer that in most of student housings. So I would recommend getting yourself some thicker socks than what you're used to for everyday wear, and or fuzzy slippers. You know, you can buy some cute ones or you can buy some plain ones, whatever your style is, but I would definitely recommend getting a crazy one. Primark has some, Action has some, Selena has some, so many stores have them, so you'll be fine with your options there. And then for bike care and safety, a lot of Dutchies, if you haven't already noticed, have covers on their bike seats or saddles or whatever you call them. I'm not really sure actually, but they have bike covers, and you can put this over the bike seat, and it will protect it from the snow, the rain. It's a really great cover as well when you're traveling, like from school or to school or whatever, and you need your bike parked outside most of the time. You don't want to be sitting on a wet and cold seat that's basically just going to make your butt freeze the whole time you're commuting to and fro places. So I would highly recommend getting one. You can just get a cheap one anywhere. Sometimes they give them out for free during orientation week, so if you see anyone giving them out, like, make sure you grab one. It's also not that secure, so people tend to steal them. I've never had that experience of people stealing my seat covers, but I hear that's a thing, so maybe don't, like, invest big money on this one. Another tip that I have is extra lights. So during the winter time, it gets dark really quick compared to, you know, spring or summer or fall even. Usually 4 or 5 p.m. is when the sun sets, and you get less sunshine during the day, but that also means that everything will be dark and wet and slippery while you're driving on your bike and there are cars near you. And if you've never been in the Netherlands, or if you've never driven a bike in large roads before, that can get very overwhelming and very frightening. So I highly recommend getting extra lights that you can put on the front of your bike or on the back of it, or even on your clothes. I've seen people actually put it on their backpack, so it doesn't just highlight your bike to other, you know, to car drivers especially, but it also highlights your body. My dad actually thought that it would be a good idea to buy one of those reflective neon vests, but if you're not into super flashy fashion, then you can also get like one of those bands that you can get for your arm or something. Basically anything that will attract more light to you, just to ensure that you're safe, especially if, you know, you've never had experience with driving like that before. Another thing that I recommend is keeping a thermos or a pot or whatever, basically just a thing that insulates heat. Insulates? Is that the right word? I should not be using words that I don't really know what they mean. Basically, you want something to keep your hot water in. Instead of boiling water over and over again and just like taking little bits from the kitchen and then it'll get cold quick, get a thing that will keep your water warm for a longer period of time. I got mine from Blocker, I think, and it keeps my water hot for 12 hours, so I don't really have to boil water too much. I don't waste electricity, and also I have hot water right when I wake up, which is really nice because I like to drink that when I wake up rather than tea, and I don't like waiting. You know, it's just like a quick and go type of thing. And also, if in the middle of the night it gets a little cold, it's really nice to just warm your body up with some tea. That usually does the trick. And another tip that I have is surrounding yourself with greenery. So as you can see, I have various plants here. I have 2 cacti, a succulent, an aloe vera, and I think this is also a succulent. But during the winter time, everything is really gray and dark, and I mean, it's cliche, but it's really true that your mood can go very, very, very bad really quickly when you're just surrounded by drabness for a long period of time. Like it's a few months, the winter time. So I highly recommend sort of giving your place some life and, you know, surrounding yourself with life. And it's really, really uplifting to see plants around you actually. And it's just nice and cozy. And for me, it reminds me of home because when you come from the tropics, everything is green. So another tip with mood and seasonal depression is to take vitamins. So if you're not already regularly taking vitamins, I highly recommend it. There are a bunch of stuff you can take. There are like multivitamins. You can take just vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, antioxidants, etc. Of course, if you can consult with a GP or a doctor or whatever, that'd be great. But honestly, the internet also has a wide range of information, and if you go to Holland and Barrett or Holland Barrett or De Tuinen, as some people know it, it's a store here, and usually those people are more than happy to help you, and they can really give you some tips on how to keep your body and mind healthy during the winter time, especially when you're not getting as much sun as you need. Also, with that general mood, you can also get yourself some really nice candles with some of your favorite scents. I was never that huge on candles. I thought they looked cute in the room, but since wintertime has come, candles really do make a huge difference, just like having the light from the fire and having the warm scents in my room really uplifts the mood. Another tip that I have is layering. Okay, so as I have already sort of mentioned, in the Netherlands there's a lot of rain, right? There's not just snow. Actually, snow doesn't really stick here for very long. I think in the past few months it snowed like for 4 days maybe in total, and then the rest was just winter rain. And it's not heavy rain, it's actually just little droplets, but it's constant, it doesn't stop, it can last for days. It gets just annoying really, especially because I wear glasses, so when I'm driving on the bike it just droplets everywhere and I usually can't see. But with that, I would highly recommend getting a winter coat that has a hood on it, number one, even though the wind sometimes tends to blow it in the other direction. So I would also recommend layering with another hoodie underneath that you can have a drawstring and like tie around your face so that it covers it. Another option is to wear a beanie. That also usually protects the head. My parents believe that you get sick from getting like either a wet head for too long or wet feet. So you never want your socks to be wet, and you never want your hair to be wet outside, especially when it's cold. So I highly recommend a beanie. And if you're also biking and it's raining, or it's snowing, you know, it's ideal and you want to be in warmth. So that means you want to just put on the biggest scarf you have, the biggest gloves you have, put on a lot of layers. And while layers is great for when you're going inside and out of buildings a lot, like on campus, it's not the most ideal on bikes because you will probably sweat, especially if your commute is longer than 5 minutes, which it is for most people. So I highly recommend sort of being mindful and testing that, because you don't want to be suffocating and sweating while it's like there's cold wind blowing on your face and you're just working hard on that bike. So maybe do a trial test run to see how many layers and how thick the layers need to be for you, because it is definitely partial for everyone. And the last tip is also within the world of fashion. When I went to the winter market, the Christmas market, I think I did post a video. I think we do have a video on it, yes. When we went there, I was wearing boots that cost probably not more than 15 euros from Primark. While it felt great to buy something that cheap and wear it, it does not do great things for actually protecting you from the cold. So fast fashion may not be the best option, but not everybody has a lot of options, and I completely get that, and neither do I, to be honest. So number one tip is to, if you're going to buy boots, look for sturdier boots. They don't have to be expensive, they don't have to be a crazy like famous name brand or whatever, but I do recommend like testing out the fabric or like the lining in the inside of the boots. See if there's a layer of sorts, because that's what's going to protect the inside of the boot from the water or from the slosh that ice will be eventually. And so yeah, you can also use particular types of like sneakers that have a more leather type of fabric covering it instead of the mesh that you can find in most running shoes. That's not ideal. And really thin cheap boots is also not ideal. I've learned my lesson. So yeah, you can definitely buy something at like a vintage store for a little bit cheaper, or you can, you know, look around. I bought my boots at Funharen, that's how you pronounce it, or Van Haren with this accent, and they were on sale, so that store, not gonna say it again, usually has quite a few sales, especially during the summer or the winter. So if you can find something in your size, that would be great. And they also have usually lower prices than the, you know, more well-known stores. So that was pretty much it for my tips. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you can take something away from it. I also hope that you all will have a great winter season and all the other seasons that come along with it. Winter can be a drop sometimes, but you'll really miss the cold. No, I don't know. I don't know if you miss the cold once the summer comes. But you know, there's beauty in it as well. And with these tips, I hope you'll be able to look on the bright side, even though it isn't that bright outside. Alright, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!